Welcome back to BTN Live. Michigan State linebacker Riley Bullough has been named the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. Bullough with a career-high 14 tackles and a pass breakup in the Spartans' weekend win over Oregon. We are joined now by Riley Bullough here on BTN Live. Riley, I know most coaches say enjoy the win for one day and then we're back to work, but be honest with me. You have to be still feeling the glow a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think we are. We watch film on Sunday nights. So kind of after that, we try to put it away. But, I mean, it was a big game. We're happy to come out with a win. I think we played intense. We played fast and physical, what we wanted to do. And I think we did that. So, you got to enjoy it a little bit, but at the same time, you got to move on to the next week.
Riley, now that you have watched film, how much more complete a defensive effort was the game against Oregon in comparison to your season opener?
Yeah, I just think we played, a lot more sound. We were doing the little things right, kind of things that we wanted to do in week one, we were able to do against Oregon. That's important to get better each week. Game one is always a challenge because you have a long off season, you have a long camp. Going into the second week, you kind of build your confidence and you get a little experience from that first game. So I think that helped us this week against Oregon.
Back and forth against the Ducks as expected. You were the one putting the pressure on Vernon Adams as that final fourth down pass falls incomplete. Take me back to that moment at Spartan Stadium and the emotions pulsing through you when you realized the victory was yours.
Yeah, it was an intense series. It was an intense moment, that last play. I tried to get as much pressure on him as I could. They got a lot of weapons on their team. Their quarterback's great. We just tried to do everything we could to stop them. In the end, I think we did that. Once again, we're just happy, and grateful to come out with a win.
Talking with Michigan State linebacker Riley Bullough here on BTN Live. Riley, those of us in the media made a huge deal of defensive coordinator Pat Narduzzi leaving to take over at Pitt and the transition to co-coordinators with Coach Tressel and Coach Barnett. From a player's perspective, how seamless has that transition been?
Yeah, right when Coach Narduzzi left, it was kind of a shock just because we were so used to having him there in the meetings and at practice and stuff. But Coach Tressel and Coach Barnett do a great job working together. They kind of bounce around positions and help out wherever they can. I think that's good for us. That helps us a lot. And we brought in Coach Snyder working with the linebackers. I think he's done a great job. It's worked out great so far, and just hopefully we can keep the ball rolling and, into the season.
Riley, folks love to compare vintages from one to the last. How would you compare this Michigan State team thus far to the ones over the past couple of years?
We pride ourselves on being physical, fast, and, hard-nosed football players. I think that's what we have this season with our defense. I think that's what we had in the past. That's kind of a staple around here to have a tough defense, so we're just trying to carry that torch and keep that tradition going.
Just a few more minutes with Michigan State linebacker Riley Bullough here on BTN Live. Riley, new polls released, and in the Associated Press poll, Michigan State actually receiving 2 first-place votes this week. No first-place votes and not able to leapfrog some other teams who played much weaker competition this past weekend. How much, if at all, does the national perception of your team matter to you guys inside the locker room?
To be honest, it doesn't matter to us, especially week 2. We got a lot of football left to play. I think we still need to prove ourselves, on the field. As a defense, we feel like we can play better. But, just as each week goes on, we're just looking to get better. And, whoever is put in front of us, we want to win, and that's what you got to do. And, in college football, and especially as you get deeper in the season, as you want to reach that playoff, which we want to do. So we're not too worried about polls. We're just, worried about each week going out and playing our best.
All right, last one for you, Riley. There's no doubt you guys will be favored in every game leading up to the road trip to Columbus on November 21st. You know that, even though you may not remind each other of that. How do you guard against looking too far ahead?
It's not too hard for us, because each week we come out and we want to play. It doesn't matter who we're playing against. People kind of asked us that question when we were going against Western. Like, how do you not look past Western? I mean, how could you? It's a football game. You got to go out and play, and that's kind of how we view it. And that's how we're going to view, each week going, leading up to when we play Ohio State. But, up first this week, we got Air Force, great team, a lot of discipline. So that's just kind of how we do it around here.
He is the Big Ten's reigning Defensive Player of the Week, Michigan State linebacker Riley Bullough. Riley, thanks so much for the time. Best of luck this coming weekend.
Thanks for having me.